joined your conference. Mute on.
Well, good morning everybody in Canada and good afternoon from Scotland. I hope everyone can hear us, and if you can't understand the accent at any point, please feel free to type a comment in the chat box and I'll definitely try to slow down and make myself a little bit clearer. So my name is Linda McAllister and I am the Trade Marketing Manager here at Visit Scotland, the National Tourist Office for Scotland. And I am joined here by my colleague Lindsay Symington. Hi there. And my assistant Amy Sutherland. Hi everyone. And we just thought to, for everyone to get to know us a little bit, if you don't already, we'd give you all a little interesting fact about ourselves. So I opened my exam results when I was in high school live on the BBC Scotland news programme, which was extremely embarrassing because my exam results weren't that great, and it gave me local fame for about 15 minutes. Lindsay, what's your claim to fame?
I think probably my claim to fame is the most famous person I ever met, which was Hugh Grant.
And where did you meet Hugh Grant?
I actually met him in LA, but Hugh Grant comes over to Scotland every year to play in the Dunhill Cup, which is a golf tournament. So if you ever want to meet him, you should come over to Scotland.
And Amy?
My claim to fame is I was an extra on the TV series Monarch of the Glen, which hopefully some of you will have seen.
Oh, fantastic. And you'll be hearing later on from our good friend and colleague Ian Duffy from Royal Scottish Tours, and I hope you'll all be sure to ask him what his claim to fame is, other than running a fantastic tour operating company. So this is what we're going to be going through today. We're basically going to give you an overview of Scotland if you're not already familiar with it. And I know that I had a quick look through the registrations, and I know that we've got some agents from our Scots programme. So hello to everybody and welcome back to Scotland. But for everyone else, we'll be giving you a brief introduction to the country. We'll also be telling you a little bit about Scotland's focus years and what's coming up, what's going to be new in Scotland over the next couple of years. Then I'll tell you a little bit about our consumer campaign in Canada, the partners that we work with, and how we promote Scotland in Canada. We'll tell you a little bit about our Scots programme and our travel trade website, and then we'll hand over to Ian to tell you more about Royal Scottish Tours and their products. And then what we'll do is we'll hold all the kind of Q&As until the very end, and if anyone has any questions at the end, we'll be more than happy to chat through them. So really looking forward to the session today, and I'll hand over to my colleague Lindsay to tell you what's going on in Scotland.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to give you some quick facts and figures about Scotland. Scotland's got a population of about 5.1 million, which to put into context is about the population of the Greater Toronto area. Edinburgh is our capital city, which is based on the east coast of Scotland, and Glasgow is our largest city, which is located on the west coast of Scotland. Edinburgh and Glasgow are only about an hour apart, and they're easily to get between the two cities, either by train or by car. By car, it takes about an hour, and by train, it takes about 50 minutes. Now, the two cities, even though they're very close by, are very different and offer your clients something quite unique. So if you're sending them to Scotland, you should certainly send them to both of the cities. We also have about approximately 100 whisky distilleries, which the highest concentration of them is in the northeast of Scotland. So your clients will be spoilt for choice when they come over to Scotland, and you'll have to send them to a distillery, as most of the distilleries are visitor attractions as well. And your clients can actually go in, have a tour around the distillery, and then have a wee dram at the end of the whisky. We also have over 550 golf courses, which is great, and your clients really are spoilt for choice and where to play. And we've got a whole range of golf courses as well, and that includes a range of prices. Obviously, we've got the old course in St Andrews, which is the real mecca because it's the home of golf. But we have other great little hidden gems all over Scotland, like Shiskin on the Isle of Arran. We also have over 790 islands in Scotland. Only about 10% are inhabited though, and the islands are kind of clumped together into 2 or 3 different sections. On the northeast of Scotland, we have Orkney and we have Shetland, and the easiest way to remember the order they go on is SOS, Scotland, Orkney, and then Shetland. Then on the west coast of Scotland, you'll see we've got a group of islands called the Outer Hebrides, which is like North and South Uist and Lewis, and Skye. And then further down on the west, we have the Inner Hebrides, which is Mull, Islay, Jura, and Arran. We also are very proud that we are the home of 5 World Heritage Sites, which is great for being such a small country, which is Edinburgh Old and New Towns in Edinburgh, St Kilda, which is a remote island off the west coast of Scotland, the heart of Neolithic Orkney, based up in Orkney, New Lanark, which is just south of Glasgow, and the Antonine Wall. Now also we'd like to run a wee competition, which you can type your answers into the chat box, if you can tell me what the population of Glasgow is, and we'll announce the winner at the end. Now I just want to talk a bit about Homecoming Legacy, which will lead us into the next couple of years and our focus years. Homecoming took place in 2009 and it was an absolute great success. It influenced more than 95,000 visitors to travel to Scotland and generated 53.7 million additional tourism revenue for Scotland, which was in 2009 was a very difficult year for tourism due to the world recession. But the best part of that was that 45% of Canadian visitors in 2009 attended at least one Homecoming Scotland event, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, because it was such a bumper year, we wanted to capture and maintain that momentum. So for the next 4 years, we've got what's called focus years, which will lead us up to 2014, where again, Scotland will once again welcome the world when we're hosting the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, the Ryder Cup at Gleneagles, and also it's the 500th anniversary of the Battle of Bannockburn. Now, Visit Scotland, what they will do is they will highlight these within our touring campaigns, and our touring campaigns will still focus around our brands, which are touring, golf, and ancestral. One of the product legacies out of Homecoming is Robert Burns Birthplace Museum, which opened this year in January 2009, and the Scottish Heritage Pass. Robert Burns was Scotland's national poet and bard, and his life and works are still celebrated today. All school children learn his poems at school, and every year we celebrate his birth by a Burns supper on the 25th of January. And I know that some of the Canadians celebrate it as well, and they'll have Burns suppers. So it's a really good event. So the Robert Burns Birthplace Museum is situated down in Ayrshire, and it is home to the Burns Cottage, where Robert Burns was actually born, and other historic landmarks including Alloway Old Kirk, where Tam O'Shanter was written, Brigadoon, and Poets Pass. Now, the property is owned by the National Trust for Scotland, and they actually have a pass that's available to the travel trade and provide commission. But the bonus is that it's also part of the Scottish Heritage Pass, which I'll now talk about. This was named in 2009 as the Homecoming Pass, and it's a joint venture with Historic Scotland, National Trust for Scotland, and the Historic Houses Association. And the great thing is it's only available through the travel trade, and it's a 7-day pass, and they provide 20% commission on the tickets to travel agents and tour operators. It's Historic Scotland that are facilitating this pass, so if you want to buy the pass, you can do it through Historic Scotland. Now let me just talk about the focus years. There are 4 key themes, and for 2010 to 11 it was Year of Food and Drink. 2011 is Active Scotland. 2012 is Creative Scotland, and Natural Scotland in 2013, and again Homecoming Scotland in 2014, where Scotland will welcome the world. Now let me just talk a bit about food and drink. The product, some of these products are really easy to integrate into your touring itineraries for your clients. For example, food and drink trails. We've got the seafood trail, which travels through some of the most spectacular coastal scenery in the Argyll region of Scotland, while at the same time sampling some of the freshest and delicious seafood Scotland has to offer, and it's very fresh, often just coming in that day from the sea. And within this trail there are lovely restaurants like Anne Locken, which is actually voted the top 100 hotels in the world by Harper and Queen's magazine, and also Loch Fyne Oyster Bar, which is actually situated on the banks of Loch Fyne. We also have a whole range of food and drink festivals and events that take place every year that you can incorporate. For instance, they have the Spirit of Speyside, which is located up in the northeast of Scotland and offers unique tours, tastings, samplings at distilleries. They blend food and drink together, and the really good thing about this festival is that there's lots of distilleries open to the public that aren't open any other time of the year. Scotland also has a range of cook schools, which is a really good addition if you're doing like a pre or post cruising tour, or also if you've got golfing tours coming over and they're bringing their wives and they're looking for something different other than shopping. And the cook schools are located all over Scotland. There's ones in Glasgow and Edinburgh, even up in the Isle of Skye. Now, food and drink's become really important to Scotland, and the chefs in Scotland have really embraced this. They're much more focused on sourcing food locally, the sustainability aspect of food, and quite often in menus now in restaurants, you'll see where the meat and the vegetables have actually come from. And for more information about food and drink, you can go to our website called www.eatscotland.com. 2011 is also the Year of Island Culture. So it's a year-long celebration of all that's special about our people and their culture. There's a programme of activities. There's over 100 events and festivals that are taking place. Scotland's islands are really unique. You've got breathtaking scenery. It's really an opportunity to get away from the mainland and experience the unique Scottish island culture. It's very accessible to get to Scotland's islands. We've got unspoilt beaches, there's rare wildlife, our heritage, and also there's loads of music festivals taking place. For instance, there's the Hebridean Celtic Festival that will take place in July on the Isle of Lewis. There's the tall ship races in July and they'll land in Shetland. There's also the Blah Festival that takes place every year in September on the Isle of Islay. Scotland's islands are really accessible to get to, so it's very easy to incorporate this into a client's itineraries. For example, they could fly out to the islands, and one of the really unique things on the Isle of Barra is that you can land on the beach. We've also got really good ferry services, and these are operated by two companies, one called Caledonia and McBray, which sails to 24 Scottish islands, and also Northlink Ferries, which services Orkney and Shetland. 2011 is also the Year of Active. In October 2010, we hosted the Adventure Travel World Summit, which really puts Scotland on the map in terms of an adventure destination. Now, the important thing about the Year of Active Scotland is that it encompasses more than just extreme sports. It includes gentle strolls, wildlife watching, biking, and of course golfing, not forgetting that Scotland has over 550 golf courses. So this is really easy to incorporate into your clients' itineraries, whether it's an evening wildlife tour, a stroll along a coastal beach, or canoeing along the Great Glen. It just gives you that opportunity to show Scotland to your client in just slightly a different way. So for instance, we've got wildlife watching tours. Now Scotland has the most northerly pod of bottlenose dolphins in the world. We've got the greatest density of eagles, which are situated on the Isle of Mull in the world, and we've also got the biggest single rock colony of breeding granites on the world on the Bass Rock in the Firth of Forth, which is just off the east coast. Scotland's also got some famous walking paths. For example, we've got the West Highland Way, which would take your clients from Glasgow to Fort William, and that takes about 4 days. But you can also just do a section of it for half a day and just experience some of it. Or they could go up to Speyside, where they could walk through whisky country. So as they're walking, they could stop off at the distilleries and have a wee dram. Also, we've got golf breaks that your clients could do. They could get out and about on the golf course, and as I've already mentioned, we have a whole range of golf courses available. Mountain biking tours are available. Scotland actually ranks as one of the top places in the world to go mountain biking. We've got world-class trails, fantastic scenery, and we also hosted the World Mountain Biking Championships as well.
Excuse me, Visit Scotland?
Uh-huh.
This is Emily. Can you please try to speak up a little bit? There's some people that are having troubles hearing your voice.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Can
Is that better for everybody? Please, if you're having any problems, please type it in the chat box and then we can adjust the sound. Is that better? Great. Okay, thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries, that was good to know.
Go. I think that's good.
Okay, now 2012 is the Year of Creative Scotland, and this year we'll focus on Scotland's culture and creativity, highlighting a wealth of experiences for your clients. We'll have celebrations of the arts and our architecture, to Scotland's international reputation for things like our music, our film, our drama and dance, as well as our world-renowned textile industries. Your clients have the opportunity to sample Scottish creativity. And for 2012, again, we'll have a year-round programme of festivals and events which we will update you regularly with. Now, the festivals and events that we have, for example, that you could include in your clients' itineraries include the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, which I'm sure you're all aware of. This is world famous, takes place in August every year. We also have the International Arts Festival and Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, the Glasgow Comedy Festival in Glasgow, the Burns and All That Festival, Wigtown Book Festival, and these are just a wee taster and sample of the festivals and events that will take place. Other product ideas could be learn to play the bagpipes. The Bagpiping Centre is situated in Glasgow and they offer bagpiping lessons. So you could send your clients to a lesson and they can learn how to play the bagpipes. You can also visit kilt making factories and see how Scotland's national dress is made, or visit Harris Tweed Mill in the Outer Hebrides, or even just include a literary pub tour of Edinburgh. Now, also in 2012, the Olympics will take place in London. So as London hosts the world's greatest sporting event, Scotland hosts the world's largest arts festival. So this is a really good platform for Scotland to promote its year of creativity. And during 2020, there will be a year-long programme of events, and we'll update you as soon as we have the rest of that information. 2013 will be Natural Scotland, and this will focus on Scotland's natural heritage and reputation in a land of natural beauty. Your clients can escape into the unspoilt wilderness, one of our national parks perhaps, or take in the majestic but accessible mountains, or one of our 750 islands. You can enjoy the stunning natural landscapes while keeping an eye out for our indigenous wildlife, including pine martens, red squirrels, wildcats and eagles. Product ideas could include a wildlife watching holiday, or for instance going to one of Scotland's forests and having a forest tour by one of Forestry Commission's rangers. Visit one of our national parks. Scotland actually has 2 national parks. One is called the Cairngorms National Park Authority, which is based up in the Highlands of Scotland near Aviemore. The other is the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park, which is kind of based in the central belt of Scotland, and it's only half an hour away from Glasgow, so very accessible for your clients. You could even go dolphin watching on the 5th of 4th, and that's just a wee taster of some of the things that you could incorporate into your clients' itineraries for that year. 2014, Scotland will again welcome the world. We've got the 500th anniversary of the Battle of Bannockburn, which is situated just next to Stirling Castle. Also, we'll have the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, which we're very excited about, and the Ryder Cup in Gleneagles. Now, I also want to update you about some of the accommodation that's just come to Scotland. Glasgow's actually had a lot of bed stock added to it recently and will continue over the next few years as it prepares to host the Commonwealth Games. So in last year and this year, Hotel Indigo has opened up, and it's a boutique hotel with 94 rooms. The Central Hotel, which is situated in Central Station, has just gone through a £20 million refurbishment and hosts 186 rooms. There's Blythewood Square, which was formerly the RAC building and has kept some of its quirky references to the building in the past. It's got 100 rooms. Also Citizen M, which is an affordable luxury hotel with 198 rooms. So as you can see, there's plenty of choice and range in Glasgow now for hotels. Also in Edinburgh, the Premier Inn at Edinburgh Airport's opened up. And in Aberdeen, the Park Inn Hotel has opened up, which has 185 rooms. The Hilton Garden Inn, which has 92 rooms. And the Ibis Hotel, which will open in August later this year. Also, there's some new attractions that I'd like to update you about. In Glasgow, there is the Riverside Museum. This is a new museum. It's a £74 million project, and it will open on the 21st of June this summer, so we're very excited about this. And it will house the old Museum of Transport, which was previously located in the West End. And the new museum just sits on the riverbanks of the River Clyde, which is a very famous river in Scotland. Also, the Hunterian Museum will reopen again this summer in September, and the renovated Hunterian Museum will showcase excellent works of Mackintosh, Rembrandt and Whistler. And then in Edinburgh, there's the National Museums of Scotland is going to open after a £46 million revamp. Now, the National Museums will open again on the 29th of July this summer. The refurbishment has turned the museum into one of UK's largest museums, as well as one of the finest Victorian public buildings in the UK. So it really is something special, and you should definitely send your clients there if they're coming here after the 29th of July. Also, the Scottish National Portrait Gallery will reopen in November 2011 this year, and it's set to dazzle with the new exhibition space and a much larger amount of its collections on display than in 2009. So if your clients are interested in artwork, you will definitely have to send them there. Also, Stirling Castle, which is my favourite castle in Scotland, invites visitors to its royal court, and it's a £12 million project where they have redeveloped the Royal Court, and it's on 6 floors, and the castle's Renaissance Palace, to how it may have looked back in the 16th century, so it's definitely worth a visit. I'm now going to pass you back to my colleague Linda, who's going to talk a bit more about the campaign.
Thanks very much, Lindsay. And I hope you're all still with us and you're managing to keep up with the levels of the volume. I noticed there was several responses to the question that Lindsay threw out there earlier. We'll go through them later on and make sure that everyone who has at least within a shouting distance of the correct answer will get a wee prize. So what I want to do now is really emphasise to you guys how easy it is going to be to sell Scotland to your clients, and to make sure you understand that our visitors are indeed the type of people that you would normally be selling to. So to give you an overview of the profile of Canadian visitors, they tend to be 45 plus, therefore in the boomer category, but very much skewed towards 55 plus. They stay an average of 15 nights and generally have a high disposable income. Because they're coming to Scotland, they're evidently motivated by our heritage, our culture, they may have Scottish ancestry, and I noticed that there's several McDonald's and other Scottish names in amongst the people who are registered today, so you'll know what I'm talking about. Also interested in golf in our cities, and gourmet, which is growing. As Lindsay mentioned, we have been celebrating the Year of Food and Drink. I think we've suffered somewhat negatively with perception of our food and drink previously, but I'm really delighted to see that that's taken off now, and we're finally getting recognised for the local produce and the interesting foods that we're bringing out. There is a growing interest in active soft adventure, and as Lindsay said, it doesn't have to be strenuous. It doesn't have to be bungee jumping off the Forth Road Bridge. It can be taking a gentle walk, whether that's a literary or a ghost tour, walking around the city, or getting out into the wilderness and exploring Scotland's great wilderness. And you'll also note that 71% have been before and either likely to visit again or visit every 1 to 2 years. So what that tells us is if you send a client to Scotland once, they'll come back a further 3 times on average. So we know that in selling Scotland, you are actually getting repeat clients and therefore repeat business. And no surprises, of course, we have the majority of visitors from the Greater Ontario region, but also a good amount from British Columbia, Alberta, Nova Scotia and Quebec. This is our consumer website, cometoscotland.ca, and it's extremely busy at this time of year as we're just coming to the conclusion of our spring consumer campaign. Our main partner on the website, as you can see, is Royal Scottish Tours, so you'll hear a wee bit about later on. But there's lots of features in the website that you guys can use in your business. First and foremost, we have a travel deals section, and that's populated by tour operators, but also by agents who are members of our Scots programme. They have the ability to go in there and populate the travel deals section with their travel deals. And we've actually found that this is the fastest growing section of the website. It's quite clear to us that people are still travelling, but are still looking for value for money. And we're very much aware that Scotland is not a cheap destination, but we can provide good value for money and a very good quality experience. We're much more about quality. We also have features on the website such as an accommodation search facility. We have an interactive map of Scotland. You can sign up for our e-newsletter, and you can also download our vacation planner. Our touring campaign, as I mentioned, is just about to come to culmination at the moment. It runs each year from February to May, and it's a mixture of online and offline, but predominantly online. It makes it much easier for us to target the consumers that we know have a propensity for travel to Scotland, and we make good use of geo-targeting in our campaigns. But we would be nothing without our partners, and it's extremely important to us to make sure that consumers know how accessible Scotland is. So we work very closely with Royal Scottish Tours and Canadian Affair to make sure the clients are aware of how they can get to Scotland and that it is good value for money and very affordable. Hopefully you'll have seen some of the media that we've advertised in this year, including the really successful Travel Zoo project that we did to make Scotland Destination of the Month in February. The campaign itself It's called I Am a Scot, and the creative was launched in 2009 for homecoming, but now it continues to work really, really well for us in Canada. And it's not just about those Scots who have Scottish ancestry, those Canadians with Scottish ancestry, but those who have an affinity with Scotland. So we use emotive language like I know the value of friendship, and that just, it helps people align Scotland to their own personal values. That gives you an idea of how the campaigns look in situ. It's very rich media content, and when you roll over it with your mouse, it expands out into a banner and a video which shows, and it's performing extremely well for us. I mentioned the Scots programme earlier. The Scots programme has been going for some time now. We were actually the first international tourist office to create a destination training programme for travel agents. So the programme's actually been going since 1986. I haven't been here quite that long, but I'm not far off it at this stage. The programme is online now. It's been online since 2003, and we have about 500 agents in Canada who are signed up to the programme. It features 5 online seminars and a range of support materials for the travel agent. We've got everything from links to high-resolution images to a marketing materials order facility. But the real benefits kick in when you sign up to become a Scots Master. The programme itself is free of charge, but we have the option of signing up to become a Scots Master at $149. This includes a fam trip to Scotland. We offer fam trips every year in April to coincide with our National Travel Trade Fair, Visit Scotland Expo. That has just taken place in April in Aberdeen, and next year it will be on the 25th and 26th of April in Edinburgh. And we'd be delighted to see as many of you as possible in Edinburgh for that fam trip, and we'll certainly be in touch with you all to make sure you know how you can sign up to that. Our trade website is called bookingscotland.com, and this really is your Scotland trade resource. We've got everything on here from supplier contacts to our e-newsletter. We've got a bank of itineraries so that you've got ideas for clients who are interested in something a little bit different. Maybe they want to do a whisky tour, maybe they want to follow in the literary footsteps of Scotland, maybe they want to check out the arts and crafts scene. We've pretty much got an itinerary for everything. We've got some fact sheets and some information on travelling around Scotland. We'll also post updates about what's happening in the next few years, so our focus year information. We'll keep that on the website as well, so you know how you can align your activity with what we are doing in Scotland. Now, it gives me great pleasure to hand over to an absolutely fantastic partner that we've worked with for many years. And we're absolutely delighted to welcome him on. It's Ian from Royal Scottish Tours. Hello, Ian.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Duffy. I am the president of Royal Scottish Tours. And as the girls were saying earlier on about their claim to fame, my claim to fame is quite current actually at the moment. I'm on the cover of the Travel Courier magazine, so the latest edition of Travel Courier. I'm on the front page, very exciting. Anyway, let's move on. Royal Scottish Tours, just so some of you may not know, is a division of a company called Royal Irish Tours. We are located in Richmond Hill, Ontario, so a little bit north of Toronto, and we're your local source for Booking Scotland in Canada. We are basically Canada's only specialist to Scotland. When you do look out there and see all the various brochures and products and things available, we tend to be the source people go to first for Scotland. An exciting year for us, 2011, we are celebrating our 10th year anniversary. So we opened up the company 2001 and are in full swing on our 10th year anniversary. As you can see, the slide there on the left-hand side is the cover of our 2011 Scotland brochure. This is basically the only standalone Scottish brochure available in the market in Canada today. We employ a very professional staff who all are very, very familiar with Scotland, and all our staff have been to Scotland and the various parts of Scotland, so we're very familiar with it, and they're able to put together various tours for you. How do customers know about us or find us? We are a major advertiser. We advertise in the Toronto Star regularly, and we're also a big advertiser in the Globe and Mail. And also we advertise, as I mentioned in that magazine, the Travel Courier. And also we do weekly e-blasts to all the agents in Canada. So we're out there front and center in various different media sources, hoping people will see us and call various travel agents around Canada to book us. Moving on, I just want to go through our product range. We do have a very wide range of product available to Scotland. Our product is made up of a line of coach tours. We have various first-class coach tours of Scotland, ranging from 5 to 8 days. We also have a product, a little bit slightly cheaper product called sightseeing tours, and these are sort of mini tours of Scotland, going to some places that are off the beaten track a little bit, so our sightseeing tour product. We also offer a very wide range of driving holidays throughout Scotland, and we do various types of driving holidays, which I will get into a little bit later. We offer car rental throughout Scotland with pickups and drop-offs in most major towns and cities in Scotland. We also offer a wide range of hotel accommodation throughout all of Scotland and various different types of accommodations, which I'll discuss later. We also can customize and do chauffeur driving holidays as well. So if your customer has a particular idea they want to do in Scotland, a particular driving holiday, whether it involves bed and breakfasts or hotels, manors, castles, our staff are trained and can put that all together for you. Okay, so moving on. Sorry, 1 second now. Okay, just to talk to you about our coach tour program. Our main coach tour is called the Scottish Royal, and this is our sort of signature tour. We've been operating this tour since we began Royal Scottish Tours in 2005. This is a weekly tour with departures from May to October, and all these tours are all guaranteed, so your customers can book these tours in the knowledge of knowing that the tour will not be cancelled. The Scottish Royal Tour is a 7-night first-class tour, spending nights in various first-class hotels throughout Scotland. The tour is made up of 2 nights at the Menzies Hotel in Glasgow, and then we have 2 nights at the King's Mills Hotel in Inverness, 1 night at the Dunblane Hydro Hotel in Perthshire, and also 2 nights back at the Carlton George in Edinburgh. Now these are all very good quality hotels. They're all 4-star properties. We've been to them all, visited them all, and stayed in them all, and we highly recommend them. So a very good class of accommodation on our Scottish Royal Coach Tour. All our coach tours include full Scottish breakfast daily, so a good start to your day with a good fully cooked Scottish breakfast. On this particular tour, we have 4 full-course evening meals, and one of those meals is a special evening, a special dinner with Scottish entertainment. So 4 evening meals included in the Scottish Royal. We also use excellent local guides in Scotland, and we know them as well. Our guide who does most of these tours is a gentleman called Ross Tilbrook, and he's been to our office, sat down with us, talked about the tour, and basically given us ideas and suggestions. So there's a lot of local input into designing the tour, and with help from our various people in Scotland. Some of the highlights of the Scottish Royal Tour, we take people on a cruise on Loch Ness, the famous Loch Ness. Hopefully they get a chance to see the Loch Ness Monster. We also do whiskey distillery tour, and also that includes sort of tasting a wee dram as well. There are panoramic city tours of Glasgow and Edinburgh on this tour, and various visits and admissions, including such places like the Burns Heritage Centre. Not a lot of tours I've seen in Canada go down sort of south of Glasgow, and you'll see we go down into Ayrshire and actually visit the Robbie Burns Heritage Centre. We have other visits like Illandunnan Castle, probably the most famous castle in Scotland. You've seen it in all the movies and in all the various photographs you see of Scotland. They always feature Illandunnan. And I notice in a lot of itineraries, people in their itineraries will say, and we pass by Illandunnan. Well, we don't pass by it. We actually stop and we go in and we visit it. So a great visit there, Illandunnan Castle. And then we go to do the Culloden Moor Visitor Centre, St Andrews, and also Edinburgh Castle included in this particular tour. So it's a very, very good quality tour, has been running for a number of years, very successful, and please do not be shy about booking it. Your clients will be very, very impressed, and the feedback on the tour from various customers is excellent on this particular tour. So that's our Scottish Royal 8-day first-class coach tour of Scotland. Again, weekly departures May to October. We also offer a range of other first-class coach tours, and just briefly I'll give you the names of them there. We have a Scottish Wonder Tour, which is a 6-day tour. Basically it's a tour that highlights the Highlands of Scotland and the city of Edinburgh. So it's sort of 3 days in the Highlands and two nights in Edinburgh. It's called the Scottish Wonder. And also we have a little tour called the Highland Fling, and this is basically a 3-night tour, 4-day tour, heading up into the Highlands, up towards Inverness, and a nice little tour if somebody's looking just for a short tour of Scotland. We also have another great tour called the Celtic Classic, and this is a combo tour if somebody's looking to combine 2 great countries, Scotland and Ireland. This is the tour. It's called the Celtic Classic, featuring the best of Scotland and the best of Ireland. Okay, next I'm going to talk about our sightseeing tours. Now these are a little bit different. These are sort of a selection of mini tours from 2 to 5 days in duration. These are they're not budget tours, but they're sort of they're a step below our first class coach tour. They're a smaller tour featuring 16-seater Mercedes coaches. We offer a choice of accommodations on these particular tours. The customer has a choice to choose hotel accommodation on the tour, or they can choose a bed and breakfast variation of accommodation. And as I say, it gives them 2 choices in terms of pricing. The hotel a little bit more expensive than the bed and breakfast option. But these tours tend to be more personal. You get to sort of get more time with the locals, spend more time meeting local Scottish people on these particular tours, and they kind of feature more back road touring. So the size of the coaches enable them to get into areas of Scotland maybe that some of the larger coaches may not do. All the guides on these sightseeing tours are all local guides, all local professional Scottish badged guides, and they're all hand-picked as well. So a great option for somebody if they're looking to do a little tour of Scotland, maybe do some hotel accommodation in Glasgow or Edinburgh, and then want to go out for a little bit and visit various parts of Scotland. I could recommend they do one of these sightseeing tours. Some of the options on the sightseeing tours that are available there, you can see we have Iona, Mull and Skye, and this is a 5-day tour featuring the islands there on the west coast of Scotland. And Lindsay and the girls talked about some of the further islands. We have a great one there called Orkney and the Far North, and this again is another 5-day tour highlighting the Orkney region. We also do another one called the Outer Hebrides, and again that's another 5-day tour. And we also have one called Isla and the Whiskey Coast for anybody who's interested in whiskey. That's a 4-day tour. And then we have another one called the Isle of Skye, a 3-day tour, and again a shorter whiskey tour, this time the Speyside. Speyside is a famous area, famous for its whiskey distilleries, and we do the Speyside Whiskey Tour, which is a 3-day tour as well. And we we also have Loch Ness and Inverness, just a quickie, a 2-day tour. If somebody's looking for something short and quick to get out of Glasgow or Edinburgh, we'd highly recommend this. So again, all these tours are basically available, guaranteed, and they all operate basically April through to October. Some of them actually operate all year round. So these are great additions if your customer wants to add something to, say, an existing city stay in Glasgow or city stay in Edinburgh. Highly recommend they can do a sightseeing tour on top of that visit. Another big sort of strong point for Royal Scottish Tours is our driving holidays, very popular way of visiting Scotland. We offer probably the largest selection of driving holidays in all of Canada. We offer different options of driving holidays. One is sort of a go-as-you-please option. This is kind of based on more of a voucher type style, staying at B&Bs and sort of doing your own thing. So that we have a go-as-you-please, a couple of different go-as-you-please options. And then we also offer for customers who don't like that option, who want everything pre-planned and pre-booked, we offer a pre-booked driving tour option as well. So there's a number of tours offering pre-booking as well. We offer many accommodation choices on our driving holidays. So a great sort of choice in terms of a customer wanting to design a full holiday of Scotland, mixing the likes of bed and breakfast with some hotels and throwing in some beautiful manors and some deluxe castles as well. A great way to explore all the various different types of accommodations in Scotland. Our staff can put that all together, customize it all for you. All of our driving holidays feature a full Scottish breakfast, and also you can't do a driving holiday without a car, so we also include car rental with all the various driving holidays. And I'm just going to talk about some of our driving holidays. We have, as I said, we offer a popular selection of driving holidays. One of the most popular ones is kind of that go-as-you-please option, which is called the Scottish Adventure. Basically, it's a 7-night bed and breakfast driving holiday of Scotland. Basically, we provide vouchers and a car rental for 7 nights, and the customer can go as you please and drive around Scotland. The B&Bs are all around Scotland. Another very popular package is the Tartan Adventure. Basically, it's a 2-night city stay in either Edinburgh or Glasgow, combined with 4 nights in bed and breakfast around Scotland, and 1 night in a castle as well. So that's probably our most popular selling option, the Tartan Adventure. We offer a roam around Scotland. This is a pre-booked driving holiday, so we pre-book all the nights, and we offer this roam around Scotland. It's in a choice of bed and breakfast accommodation, hotels, or manors. For those looking for a little bit of luxury, we have a tour called the Elegant Scotland, and this is basically 7 nights pre-booked driving holiday in luxury hotels and manors around Scotland. And another popular option is our Castle Adventure. This is a 7-night pre-booked program as well, staying in mostly castles and some luxury hotels, and all include the car rental. We can also do chauffeur drive options on all of these tours. So if somebody doesn't like the idea of driving around Scotland, they certainly can have a chauffeur option on all of these tours. And we're finding the chauffeur option is becoming more and more popular. It is an expensive way to visit Scotland, but again, the feedback we get is amazing on the chauffeur drive holidays. So any of those holidays can be combined can be constructed to be a chauffeur drive version as well. All those driving holidays too can have any duration you want. I mean, in our brochure, a lot of them just say 7 nights, but obviously we can do any number of nights you wish, whether it be 10 nights or 14 nights or even less than 7 nights. So various different options available on our driving holiday durations. We also offer City Stays and Delight program. Basically, our City Stay program, very similar for both cities there in Scotland. We have a Glasgow Delight, and we also offer an Edinburgh Delight. This is sort of a 3-night city stay, includes transfers from the airport, includes high tea, and also a hop-on, hop-off city tour of both the cities. So the Glasgow Delight and the Edinburgh Delight. And one of the most famous spectacles and events in Scotland is the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. We do offer a 2-night package for the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. This comes with confirmed tickets for the tattoo, transfer to and from the event, and a city tour. And basically, that is very hard to come by. Tickets are a premium, nearly almost impossible to get for the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, and we have them available, including the tickets. So every great option if somebody's looking to do the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. It's still available. We can still sell packages to it. We also offer a wide selection of accommodation throughout Scotland, whether it be hotel, manor, castle, or bed and breakfast. So accommodation available throughout all of Scotland. Just a few other little facts before I finish up here. We do offer 11% commission on all our brochure pricing. So all products in our brochure, all the land pricing, 11% is our standard commission rate. We do also do flights to Scotland in conjunction with Air Transat. We offer 6% commission on all flights to Glasgow. And from time to time, we put together some special offers, which I'm sure you've seen in the newspapers, where we put in highly discounted package rates for some of our tours, or either our coach tours and driving holidays combined with airfare. Usually they end in the number 8, and that signifies that they're at 8% commission. Very popular, and it does tend to bring people into your agencies to book, so a very good seller for us. Groups, we do groups, and also we offer higher commission on groups, and also we do free places as well. Usually the 16th is free and the 32nd is free in our groups. We can certainly customize groups. You can do groups on any of our coach tours, or we can customize a specific group for you to Scotland. We also offer 50-50 advertising. Basically what that means is, if you want to do some advertising in your local paper, we would split the cost 50-50 with you to help promote and sell Scotland. All right. So basically, if you're interested in any of that, obviously give us a call. I'd just like to thank you for paying attention. I hope you could all hear me okay. And on that slide there, you'll see our name, Royal Scottish Tours, and our phone number there, 905-773-6773. And you also have our 1-800 number there, 1-866-907-8687. And I'd also like to just take this opportunity to thank Visit Scotland for allowing us to join in this webinar. I hope everybody's learned something good today. And please give us a call. We're very nice people, and we'd love to help you with your bookings to Scotland. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. I can confirm he is a very, very nice person. And the team at Royal Scottish Tours have got a fantastic reputation with the travel agent community, and it's been our pleasure to work with them in a range of consumer and trade initiatives over the past few years. So Emily, I think you're going to have a wee look through the questions.
Yes, I've been going through the questions from the beginning of the webinar, and some of them have already been answered. So one of the questions was about accessible travel, groups, people in wheelchairs, or mobility issues.
Yeah, we have a quality assurance scheme for all our accommodation providers in Scotland, and part of that quality assurance is a grading of the accessibility for wheelchair-bound or differently abled travellers, and it gives quite a good indication of where there may be issues, but more likely to give an indication of where there is support for disabled travellers. Certainly it's quite clearly laid out within the accommodation section of our website, comescotland.ca. So more than happy, if anyone has any further questions on disabled travel, more than happy to send out a fact sheet on that if it's of particular interest.
Great. Another question was about the Britwell Rail Pass and ferry service. Whether, I guess, if there's discounts if you have a Britwell service, a Britwell Pass, or if you can use your Britwell Pass for the ferry.
The Britwell Pass, obviously you can use that on the trains in Scotland, but you can't use it on the ferries. But CalMac do work with the travel trade, Caledonian McBride do work with the travel trade, and Caledonian McBride do have passes available. They've got what's called like hopscotch passage, where you can like select different islands. If your clients were going to like maybe see the Inner Hebrides, you could buy a pass that would get them on and off all those islands via the ferries. So we do have the Britwell Pass, and we have the ferry pass, which is available through Caledonian McBride, but you can't use the Britwell passes on the ferries.
Great. One for a question for Ian was, what was the maximum amount of passengers on a Royal Coach tour?
Well, on the two different types of tours, our main tour, the Scottish Royal, tends to be somewhere average around 30 to 35 passengers. We never go higher than 40, but it would be like on a 49-seater coach, so a full-size coach, generally speaking, usually somewhere between 30 and 40 passengers maximum. And as I said, on the smaller sightseeing tours, the maximum on them is 16. As I said, a little bit more of a personal experience, 16. And even if there was only 7 or 8 people on a tour like that, they run them and they don't cancel them, which is great.
Great. And something to build on that, somebody asked about youth travel. So
Yeah, we'll do any type of travel basically. I mean, we've done school groups in the past, that type of thing. So yeah, we can accommodate youth travel. I mean, people want specific things like a garden tour of Scotland, or whether they want to do some kind of a religious tour, that type of thing. We do all of that as well, and our customizing. We can do that.
and somebody also asked if the tours are offered in any other language except for English.
They're offered in 2 languages, English and Scottish. So no, we don't offer them. We don't offer them in any other language. No.
Okay. And a question for Visit Scotland, and I guess also for Ian, was somebody was asking about if they could have high-resolution pictures for websites or marketing material to promote.
Absolutely. No problem at all. What we'll do is we'll send out contact details for the team to everyone who's attended the webinar, but we'll also send out some handy links to further information, and we'll include a link to a website where you can download high-resolution images of Scotland free of charge.
And also, if anybody's looking for, like, I mean, our main product material is our brochure on Scotland, and we do send that out to all the travel agencies all across Canada, but if you run out of them, they can be ordered through contact services. They have a website there. You can go online, click on it, and you can order our Scotland brochures there anytime you want.
So another question just came up was somebody was wondering why there were no direct flights from Toronto to Edinburgh this year.
I mean, it's a good question. I'll answer a little bit of it. I don't know if Lindsay or somebody wants to talk about that as well. I mean, the main sort of carrier that used to fly in there was Air Transat, and basically, I mean, the question really should be directed to Air Transat, I guess. I'm not really sure their reasons are. The airports are close. As Lindsay said, they're only about an hour apart, but I don't know if that's a factor in it. But I myself personally wish there were some flights into Edinburgh.
Well, on the positive side of that, while there might not be any in Edinburgh, they have increased capacity into Scotland this year by, I think, about into Glasgow. So I think by about 25% this year they've increased their capacity. So there are more seats available into Scotland, but they're all going into Glasgow. And as Ian said, and we've said before in the presentation, the 2 cities are really close by. So your clients could fly into Glasgow and easily get to Edinburgh within about an hour and 15 minutes of, arriving at the airport. So I don't think, don't let that be a barrier into, them not coming into Scotland, because there is the direct flight into Glasgow. Obviously, we would happily welcome more flights into Scotland, and it's something we continually work with.
I mean, you can get to Edinburgh. It's not an issue. I mean, obviously, but you have to fly into London, or like if you want to fly, you have to go to London and then take a connecting flight to Edinburgh. So obviously, you can still get to Edinburgh by flight.
Great. And the last question was that a couple people inquired about some of the seeing some of the pages from your presentations again. One of them was the profile of the Canadian traveler and the ratings, the star ratings of the hotels, manors, and castles that you promote. Is there any way that they can get a copy of those?
In terms of our hotels and castles and manors, they're all rated with star signs in our brochure, so you can see whether they're a 3-star, 4-star, or a 5-star property. So just look in the brochure and you'll see. And our bed and breakfast tend to be kind of like tend to be all similar on a 3-star kind of basis.
Yep, and with regard to the slide on the information about the Canadian profile, I'll just put that back up again so everyone can see it again. And with the hotels that Lindsay mentioned, the new hotels that are opening in Glasgow, I think Hotel Indigo is a 4-star, the Central Hotel will be 4-star, Blythewood Square is 5, and I think Citizen M is so new it hasn't been graded yet, it's literally just opened. We also have some new really exciting developments coming up in Glasgow, including a Jumeirah, which will be coming to Glasgow for the first one in Scotland, and we very much expect that will be a 5-star property. But yeah, really adding to the good quality 4-star hotel stock that we have in the city. And our website, cometoscotland.ca, all of the accommodation on that displays the listing, the star listing is graded by our quality assurance advisors. So there's a really strong emphasis on quality with our hotels.
Great. So I think for now that's the, oh, someone's typing a question, but that looks like that's the end of the questions. After the presentation, I'll be sending all the speakers, Visit Scotland and Ian Duffy, all of the chat. So Visit Scotland will know who the winners are, or who, and also if you have any other questions, they can answer them.
Emily, one last thing there. I just see there was a quick question about FAMs to Scotland.
Oh, yep.
We are looking at the potential of running one probably in October of this year. So we will put that out and advertise it amongst the travel trade community once we have finalized details, probably not till probably sometime in July.
Great. You already have one person signed up. So, great.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care, guys.